Thanks for joining this training class on 2025 Business Planning Clinic. And let's get you into the mindset of starting to develop your own business plan for 2025. It's always good to review your numbers and your thought processes for 2024, or the year that you're starting to close out. So in this case, it would be 2024. The review should include a whole bunch of different things, but mostly in regards to your real estate business it's always important to review numbers. And those numbers are, on a yearly basis, on production numbers. And so how many closings did you have in 2024 thus far? Because I know we have a little bit longer to go. We got about somewhere around the 40-day mark in order to close out this year. Knowing where we're at and where we stand in our businesses today is going to allow us to catapult ourselves and our businesses in 2025. Where are you sitting at with closed units? And I would rather you do closed units versus closed volume, because the numbers get skewed with volume more often than not. But closed units will give you a good indication of how many transactions you are going to close per month. So let's just use easy numbers. You closed 12 transactions. That's one per month for the year. If you did 100 transactions, divide that out and you're going to get your number there. And so with that one per month for the year, where did that business come from? Where did my business come from? If I did 12 transactions, where did each one of these transactions come from? How many open houses did I do? Hopefully you're tracking that number. How many phone calls, outbound phone calls am I making? Hopefully you're tracking that number. Did I do that consistently throughout the year? Or did I do that once a month, every 2 months, or whenever I felt like making extra phone calls? I'm going to do that. So clearly identify what that looks like in your business in 2024, so we can get a good grasp of the changes that need to be made in order to double your business in 2025. All right, so I'm going to go through this list here. How many listings did you sell? How many buyers did you put in escrow and then close? How many fell out of contract? You need the ratio, because that's going to help you understand what the 2025 market's going to look like. And the reason why I say that is because our teams have put in a lot of extra work in 2024. It seems like we've been holding deals together the entire year. And there's a percentage, and the percentage is about 20% are falling out of escrow. So we've got to put in escrow 20% more deals in order to get the same closings as we're accustomed to in a market shift with the interest rates being at 6.5%, 7%. The NAR economist came out and said that the business should go up about 9%, 10% next year, which that's great news. And so there's going to be a natural rise in all of our businesses because of that. So if you closed 12 transactions and we get a 9% increase, then you're probably going to close 13 transactions if you don't change anything in your business. But knowing where you're at is going to give you an advantage moving forward. Did all of that business come to you in 2024 by referral? Did it come, open houses, door knocking, internet leads, so on and so forth? REO properties, short sales, how did you acquire that? Tracking all of that is super important. Let's move on to what is your financial goal for 2025. And let's say in 2024, you did 12 transactions and you netted $100,000. And I'm just going to use that as a number. And in 2025, you're wanting to net $200,000. Your 12 transactions to net $100,000, you're going to have to do 24 transactions in order to do $200,000 net. Okay, that's after brokerage fees and all that stuff, right? Maybe marketing cost, spendable money in your bank account. Now, with that number, what habits do you need to increase in order to make that happen? So if you took January off last year or half the year, and you want to double your business, you can't necessarily take that time frame off again this year. So we've got to match some of the habits, and then we need to increase some of those habits. Then we need to add to what we're trying to accomplish for 2025. And so if we're going to close 2 transactions a month so we can hit our goals, then let's put in the habits of how many phone calls we need to make. How many people do we need to reach out to in order to make that happen? Outbound phone calls, you can control the time, you can control how many contacts that you're making, you can control the length of the conversations, and that will help you succeed in 2025 by managing your time, managing those contacts that you're making. I would say let's make a goal of making 20 to 30 contacts per day in order to achieve, a 24 transactions closed. Now, if you're going to make 20 to 30 transactions closed for 2025, then 30 contacts per day, and let's source that business. So if it's sphere of influence, how do I get my sphere of influence and my people in my database that know, like, and trust me in order to buy again, sell again, or buy another property, or sell a commercial building, maybe lease a commercial building, something like that, whatever your business is accustomed to. All right, how many appointments per week do you need to make? We know that you've got to make at least 1 appointment per week and a half in order to hit those type of numbers. And that appointment's got to be a very, very strong appointment. That appointment has to be a pre-qualified buyer, a pre-qualified seller that has intent to do business with you. And so every week and a half, we're striving for that. So if we're going to assign how many contacts in order for that to happen, then it's probably going to be in the range of 100 to 200 contacts in order to get that deal, right? And I know there's some people out there that have really strong sphere of influences and databases. Maybe you're working all investors or something like that has a consistent flow of real estate business. And maybe your contacts are only 100. And those people supply you enough business to hit those goals. But do they supply you enough business to double your goal for 2025? What do you think's holding you back from making those contacts? What does your daily schedule look like? What takes you off track from your daily schedule and contacting your outbound phone calls? What takes you off track from not booking all of those open houses? Think about that so you can position yourself to win. Let's also think about who you need to align yourself with in order to help support your goals. Maybe you have a lender out there that necessarily wasn't supportive in showing up with your open houses or helping you market those open houses. Maybe you're sending them business and they're not sending you business so you can hit your goals. So that's another thing that you need to think about and write down is who do I need to align myself with that can help me develop the business that I want to have? Who's going to help support my business that I'm going to send referrals to, I'm going to send business to? Then I want a mutual exchange of business. So write down 5 or 6 people that you'd like to build an alliance with. Those names are going to be super important. I would suggest meeting with them, go to a lunch meeting, set a business meeting, go to a coffee, and have a meeting with them and say, hey, I appreciate that you are supporting my business. I would continue supporting your business as a mutual exchange, but I would like to maybe share. I think that's a good word for that. Share databases, right? With a lender, share databases with a home warranty person. And I want to promote your business, and I'd like for you to promote mine to your database. Or can we build a mutually beneficial database together in order for us both to prosper in our businesses? So think about that. Who can I build that relationship with that can help me change my life for the better? And that's really important. Who's enabling me to be a better human, a better business person? And who am I enabling to do all the same things? Those are mutual beneficial relationships, even if you did not get a referral from them to add to that business. But you know they're good humans and you want them in your life for whatever reason. I think you've got to have clarity in order to make sure that you surround yourself with the people that can help you along in life and help you along in your business. All right, the next thing is, what's the next step in your business? So I'll talk to agents that are fantastic at making phone calls, and they have not positioned themselves to work internet leads yet. They have not positioned themselves to start calling on for sale by owners or expired listings because of whatever the reason, the fear of, hey, that might be a waste of time. There's a lot of rejection involved in that. I'd rather just work my sphere of influence at know, like, and trust me. Well, if you don't build a bigger database and you don't risk your, I'm going to say ego, I don't mean that in a negative way, but you don't risk rejection. You don't risk your ego being hurt a little bit by being rejected. How are you going to build a stronger database with more people so you can hit those numbers? So think about that. What's the next step in the process in my business in order to start achieving the goals that I've set forth? The next thing I want you to write down is, how urgent did I create things in my world last year or 2024? Did I add urgency of trying to speed up the intention of prospecting, the intention of serving my clients, and then actually serving the clients, and then actually prospecting for more business? Did I speed up anything in the business that should have been sped up last year? So in 2025, what do I need to speed up? Okay, well, I need to make more phone calls. It took me 30 to 60 days to make 100 phone calls. By January 15th, I'm going to make my 100 phone calls. I'm going to speed up that process. I'm going to create urgency in my business, because if I could sell 24 homes in the first 6 months, I can take 6 months off. You shouldn't really take 6 months off, but that could be part of your plan. So how do I create more urgency in my business? I think that's important, where people are just like, something's going to happen in my business. I just closed a deal. I'm good for 3 or 4 months. So I'm going to take a vacation here and I'll prospect here in another month or so whenever I get done doing whatever I'm doing. I think that's the wrong attitude moving forward into your business. So think about creating urgency every single day that can push you into more business, push your business into being more productive and paying you out of that business. One of the other mindsets I want to talk about right now is being self-aware. Are you self-aware of the issues holding your business back? If there are many issues, which I would imagine that there's many issues in everybody's business, and to get clarity to move forward, you're going to have to write those down so you can start working on them like a math equation, right? So if you start saying, okay, I'm self-aware, I don't really like getting up early in the morning, but I can gain 2 hours. Instead of getting up at 7, I can get up at 5 a.m. I can gain 2 hours of my day and I can be more productive earlier in the day. That would be something of being self-aware and understanding that if you implemented some of those changes, you're going to gain more time and you can put more time into your business and you will start thriving at a different level. Another piece, what are you good at in your business? If you are an operator that is fantastic at building systems and creating workflows, then working on your business is going to be a natural fit for you as a leader in your business. If you're terrible at that, and you're like, you know what, I'm an expressive personality, I'm really good just networking. I need organized people around me. I'm just gonna go to all these networking things and I'll figure it out later. Understanding what you're good at and understanding what you're not good at, right? Write that down, and that list that you're gonna write down, that you're gonna make, that you're not good at or you don't enjoy, then we need to start thinking about hiring somebody for those jobs. And that's how that you're going to start out leveraging. The next piece, I think it's important to figure out, which I believe that most people have some level of procrastination within them. And it just seems like everybody I run into procrastinates at some level because typically we don't enjoy doing that task or activity. Write down, what do I procrastinate about and why do I think that is? We're becoming self-aware on the weaknesses that we either need to address, we need to work on over time. We need to cold turkey stop doing that. Or we need to immediately give that to somebody else to take care of. That alone is going to give you more time in your business. What about laziness? Laziness and complacency are a huge thing in the real estate business. Do we need to start giving that up, right? And I say that because at times you're going to be lazy, I understand. But how much money is that costing you? If you are lazy 3 days a week, how much money do you think that's costing you? Is that going to cost you that other 12 transactions throughout the year in 2025? It could. Let's write that down. Let's think about that. When am I lazy and why am I lazy at times? And how do I fix that? If I'm not excited to do it, I'm going to be a little bit lazy about it. So I need to send that to somebody else to accomplish, to open up my excitement in order to move my business forward. Okay. Now this is the big one here that I'm a pretty big supporter on is real estate agents and drinking have gone hand in hand ever since I've been in the business. Ever since my dad was a broker, had an office and all that stuff. And the productive hours associated with that are costing you hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now, once in a while is totally fine. I get it, no problem. But is drinking costing you $100,000 or $200,000 a year? It probably is for a tremendous amount of talented individuals out there that they need to become more self-aware about what they're doing with their time and alcohol. I'm not against it. I just think that there's loss of production and there's so many talented people that I know personally that it's costing them a tremendous amount of money because they're putting more value on having fun, drinking the alcohol and ruining that day and the next day of productivity because they're into having too much fun. I'm not judging. I'm just giving you awareness things to be aware of what I see in the industry. And most people won't tell you the truth. I'll tell you the truth. Are you too sensitive? Right? This is a big one. Holy cow. I'm a driver personality. I can be blunt and I don't really have a filter at times. Sometimes I filter myself when I catch myself. But at the end of the day, I offend people sometimes. And I don't mean to. I just say things without being filtered. I think some people are way too sensitive out there. I've also experienced it, especially with all of the political awes that were going on over this last year. You get sensitive on some of these topics. Am I too sensitive? Is it really going to impact my life and my business if I get involved or if I react in any way? So what I would suggest is practicing not being so sensitive, practicing, hey, that doesn't involve me, so I'm going to ignore the crap out of it and I'm going to go do my own thing over here. Because our emotions, when they're going like this, highs, lows, it's affecting our business. It's affecting our judgment. It's affecting who we actually are and want to be and the goals that we have set forth. It's affecting all of that stuff on a small level, but it is affecting everybody. And I'm saying everybody. As I haven't found that many people that are not affected about all the stuff that goes on here now and again. Let's also become self-aware about being judged. At the end of the day, we're all going to die someday, and none of this shit is going to matter. So whether you make 50 phone calls today or you make one, who cares? The only person that really cares is you when you're looking at your bank account, right? Maybe your family. Your family does care. They want you to succeed. They want you to make a lot of money. They want you to go on vacation. So if you think about that, hey, am I putting too much emphasis on, what other people are thinking about me? Or should I just go back to work and make the phone calls that I need to make so I can hit the goals that I've set forth in order to get the income that I want, in order to create the life that I want? Think about that. We need to become self-aware of the things in our lives that are taking us off track. And a lot of that is that judgment from others and our self-judgment, right? If we mess up, we've got to get into the mindset that, hey, we just need to move forward. That's over. It's in the past. Move forward. How do you become ultra productive in your business? I think this goes back to setting a great schedule, a daily schedule, a working schedule, and making really good decisions. And part of those decisions is, hey, I'm going to start every day, my work day at the same time. I'm going to take a break on the same hour. Maybe it's 11 a.m., maybe it's 12 o'clock for a lunch break, and maybe there's an afternoon break also. I'm going to try to take that and schedule all the appointments later on in the afternoon after all of those breaks. I don't want to disrupt my life so I can be more productive in my business. Another piece that I find a lot of agents just try to book their schedule on mastermind calls and lunch meetings and coffee meetings and everything to avoid prospecting. And so if you just create a rule that I'm not taking any doctor's appointments, I'm not taking any coffee appointments or anything until lunchtime, then I'm going to protect my prospecting hours every single day, Monday through Friday. And that's just my rule of thumb. Now, I know, of course, there's one or two times, maybe in a week, that you're going to have to do it. But for the standard rule, for anybody on this call, I think that would be something that would dramatically and positively impact your business in 2025. The next piece, do it now. Write down, do it now. Do it now. You want to be ultra productive, massively productive? Get into the habit of doing it now. Hey, I've got to make this phone call, or I got to book this appointment, or I got to start prospecting. It's 7 o'clock at night and a lead just came in. Do it now. That should be a mantra for 2025 and beyond. So we don't procrastinate. We just get things done off our plate. When they come in, do it today. Don't wait till tomorrow. Do it now. The next piece I want you to think about is, what new ways of thinking do I need to incorporate into my life? I just gave you a whole bunch. Maybe I need to incorporate a new way of thinking in my personal life. Maybe I need to incorporate a new way of being healthy for my personal health, my mental health, my physical health, my spiritual health. And then what new way of thinking do I need to come up with in order to have good business health? A growing business is healthy. And I don't know what that is. There's a lot of stuff we've already covered on this call. And I think that you're going to get a lot out of it, especially if you wrote down notes and you review this. This is going to go up on YouTube. But I think that there's massive benefits for the people that are paying attention and taking notes and trying to actually create a business plan. And most business plans are, numbers driven, which I appreciate, but I also think that you've got to get in the right mindset in order to create a great, exciting business plan. And every business plan that I've ever worked on is written in pencil, right? And it's changed throughout the year many, many times. So this is going to be guidelines, things to think about as we go forward is also. The next thing I want you to write down is, what do I normally do that maybe I like and maybe I don't like when problems occur? We know this is a real estate business and any business that there's going to be problems. And do I panic? And do I freak out? Do I get angry? Do I go right into solving the problems? Do I bring solutions in order to fix those? What weaknesses can I foresee in my business that I can adjust course today. If you can adjust course today, then you're going to be so much further and better off in the future. But what am I bringing to the table on a daily basis? What mindset and what strengths can I focus on in order to make sure my business is strong? What can I control? In the real estate business, we always can control what we do, right? We can't control everybody else. We can't control our clients. We can't control escrow. We can't control title. We can't control the home warranty people. We can't control the lenders, the underwriters. We can't control any of that stuff. But we can get really good at communicating with our people and foreseeing problems and developing our strengths and hiring out our weaknesses. So think about that. What am I bringing to the table on a daily basis? The next thing I want you to write down is, how do I adjust what I'm doing on the daily basis in my business? How do I pivot? And if you're here frustrated in 2024 and things have not gone correctly in your business, how do you pivot from here? And a lot of the habits that we've identified earlier, then those, hopefully that they're giving you a whole bunch of things to think about. How do you pivot from here? What strategies are you working on right now in order to change, in order to grow? And what strategies are not working? So I just actually cut a couple websites I was paying a tremendous amount of money. I had Luxury Presence, and I was all excited about them when I first hired them as one of my websites. And they sold me a whole bunch of different things that I thought were gonna be a positive impact on my business. And it was a dud. 6 months, dud. They didn't fulfill what they said that they were going to do. And there was a massive lag time into getting things done. And then they didn't even have the right MLS set up with my website. And I didn't check it early enough because I thought it was a professional company. So it was actually my fault, 100%. I should have checked it within that first couple of weeks of doing business with them to make sure it was on point, and it wasn't. I actually had a client tell me that they were getting emails from Northern California when they wanted emails of properties in San Diego. It was super embarrassing. And so I immediately went into action solving that problem. But when I back it up, it's 100% my fault because I should have checked and had checks and balances in my business that could have solved that problem originally. And I should have held that company accountable within that 2-week period versus waiting so long and thinking that it was already going to be taken care of and it was just a mistake. But there's no mistakes for 6 months, right? The next piece is I looked at another website company and just my ROI is off. And it could be the market, but I'm judging how much money I'm spending and what the ROI is. And if I'm not going to get a 6 or 8x off of that, do I need to risk thousands of dollars in order to get a low ROI? And how do I navigate through that? And how do I reallocate that money in order to hold it accountable, hold my money accountable to the expected return on investment? And so I look at different aspects of the business and then I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to chop that because I think I can put that money into another program generating better quality leads in order to hit the goals that I set forth. How do you pivot from this year to next year on your technology, on your habits, as we talked about multiple times, your daily schedule, talked about that, on the people that you're hanging around? How are you pivoting? How are you adjusting course? Because you're the captain of the ship. You're the one that is going to develop a great business, and you can develop a great business by making adjustments along the way. I want you to think about anticipation, anticipating changes in the industry, right? We're seeing all kinds of changes with the NAR settlement, and now we've got potential on new NAR and DOJ stuff. That, all of this noise out there is creating fear in our business as real estate agents. And I don't know if it's necessarily justified, but everybody watching this is probably good enough and skilled enough and excited about their business enough to make changes very quickly, and they're anticipating, hey, things are going to happen. So during the DOJ settlement, I wasn't worried about doing buyer broker agreements. We never really used them for the last 22 years, but I'm not too worried about that going forward. What are you going to anticipate this next year? Well, what if, and here's a big what if the interest rates don't go down? If the interest rates stay at 6.5%, 7%, can we anticipate selling the same amount of homes? Can we anticipate, changing things in our business now to compensate for that? Now, if we anticipate the rates going down a whole point, mortgage rates going down a whole point, then potentially the business is going to go back up a little bit higher. It'll speed up the market and things will be fine. But what weaknesses are there during that time frame? But if we can anticipate getting ready for things that happen in our business, we're going to be way better off. Let's talk about risk. There's always risk in your business. There's always risk in your life. And the question for you is it more risky to stay the same and do the same things as you did in this year for next year? You can't stay stagnant in this business. You have to move forward. You have to continue your learning in order to hit those financial goals that you set forth, right? So think about what risk that you're going to have to take. And it could be spending time re-educating yourself on the exact same thing that you already know, you've already heard year after year, but there's one tip that you're going to receive by going to the educational class or watching this video that is going to make a huge difference and impact your business greatly. What if there's a website company, a lead generation source, a new hire? There's going to be risk associated with all of those things. And risk is okay. You just need to have that business plan in order to navigate that risk. The next piece, what mistakes have others made that can help me in my business? It's always easier to walk behind somebody else that's already gone on that same path, that's already been the trailblazer. It's going to be easier for that person, that second person walking right behind them, that fourth person walking right behind them. This is why a lot of people hire coaches that actually sold real estate, right? That actually know the challenges of the current market that can help you navigate through your business. The next thing is to be malleable in your business. Is, hey, you know what? I'm not going to spend money here, but I'm going to go over here and I'm going to spend this much money over here in order to try to get the same result. Who has done it that can help guide me? So important. All right, the next thing, we talked a little bit about this already, but I think it's really important. There's two things here. I want to talk about eliminating distractions. What distractions are in your life and what distractions are in your business life that are impeding your performance, that are disrupting you? How about vacations? That's a distraction, right? If you take too many vacations, you're not working and it's distracting you from achieving your goals, even though it's super fun and all that stuff. How about distractions that you're around negative people, the human distractions? What human distractions are you constantly around? How about social media distractions? How about seminar distractions? There's people that are going 10, 12, 15 seminars a year, and that's a huge distraction, especially when you add in a family or family life, vacations, time with your friends, hobbies. When you start adding all of these things up, this is why I'm a big promoter of a daily schedule and mapping out your year a year in advance of how many vacations that you're going to take and what you're actually committing yourself to do on your personal life and in your business. And those distractions are costing you time, and that time is money. The next thing is dead weight. Who's in your life that is weighing you down? You're going to have to make some tough decisions, and those decisions are going to impact whether your business is going to thrive or if it's going to stay stagnant or decrease in 2025. You've got to start cutting dead weight, and that's with finances and that's with humans. Think about cutting the dead weight. The next thing, What do you want in your life and in your business? And what are you willing to give up in order to accomplish that? Every successful person that I've ever met in my life, every successful person that I've learned from, and I watch and I'm learning from a distance, they're giving up something in order to gain massive success in their business. And if you're looking for massive change and massive success and massive rewards, you're going to have to give up a lot of different things that you're very comfortable in doing. So make a list of those. Hey, what am I willing to sacrifice in order to accomplish my financial goals? I want to end this with just a few different ways to grow your business with numbers, right? It's how many clients can I add to my business this year? How many clients that I sold in my lifetime or whatever, can I get them to transact with me again? And how many people can buy multiple properties? All of these things will impact your business on a positive level. A couple other caveats to that, where residential real estate agents don't necessarily always look at this, is can you add a skill that could impact your business in a positive manner? Maybe not in the next 6 months, maybe it's towards the end of the year next year, but could you add a skill of commercial real estate? Could you add a skill of REO or bank-owned properties, of selling those for the banks? Because that's a potential market that's going to increase here this year, and we'll see what happens with that. It's not going to be huge, but it'll be a little bit. Could I add a skill of handling short sales in order to help my clients and other agents negotiate those and take a fee? What different things can you add to your skill set in order to propel your business forward? We'll talk about adding value on another call. Thank you very much for spending this time with us. If I can ever help you in your business, reach out. This is Brent Conley. Have a great day.